streets ain't talking about you, man. If I can't spin a block and find out about you, man, the people ain't about you, man. That's just what it is, you know?
But I got to
talk about it in the streets, man.
Yeah, this one's for the streets first. Stripes like a referee shirt. This one's for the streets first. Tell mama this the rebirth. Say I need church, I talk dirty. Put my hands and my feet work. Teamwork, put in pain, but gotta bring it to the streets first.
It's your boy Abutta, and I'm back with another episode of that Streets First Podcast. Streets First Podcast is powered by On Our Block. Check them out online, you know what I'm saying, onourblock.com. It's a financial service platform trying to help dreamers build wealth from scratch. And what's a better way to do that? Through these stories, baby. I'm trying to show y'all how you could build wealth from scratch through meeting up with people that I've seen do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm up here today, up NYC, with the one and only legendary, my man, Fat Joe. What up, crap?
Hey, Butta.
What's good, baby?
Man, it's an honor to do this interview with you. Off camera, you had said something that was really crazy, and you said, yo, do people knowing you come from where you come from nothing to where you at now, me building with you is giving financial literacy to the people. That is incredible, right? Because that is what we're doing, and that's what we expect, and we want people to get from it. But for you to put it in words, it's really, really deep. It's really
How I
deep.
want to show people of doing that is like, I feel like we all came from like the same walks of life, and as you look, you wasn't just born with money. You started with zero. So, you know, with me getting into a little bit of the story, let's just say going back a little bit to, you know, Joe growing up in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? What was it like for Joe growing up in the Bronx? Let's give him a little idea off of that.
It was good and bad. So for me, growing up in the Bronx was beautiful because we didn't have social media, nothing. All we had was love. You know what I'm saying? So the neighborhood was really a neighborhood where everybody protected each other, everybody loved each other. You know, the bad part about it was that as I was growing up, I realized that unfortunately, the girls only think you cute if you play ball or you're the predator or you're the hustler or you're the tough guy, you're the extorter. And as I was, you know, my life was in the street where I was like becoming more and more aggressive, you know, I got more love, more praise, more that. And so it was great, and it was also tough. You know, I lost a lot of my friends. I don't want to turn this into depression mode.
Good.
But I think when I was around 17, 18, I gave up count like 35, 40 friends who were just young kids, 15, 16, 15, not even 17. We was just young. And I came from my project building, has 14 floors. We had over 1,500 people living in my one building. So imagine 1,500. I got 3 people living in my house, bigger than my projects right now. So you got 1,500 and you got 20 buildings. So I grew up with 100,000 people on one block, you know, which is pretty crazy. And the only way you could get to where you wanted to get to is you had to be a predator. You had to be, in a sense, black out and just, you know, lay the law down. But something I'm not really proud of. But at the end of the day, when you look at me now, 50 years old, I just say, you know what? That's just the role God gave me in life. He's taught me different things to become the person I am now.
Now, you looked at it as, you know, the good and the bad, but, you know, you go from, you know, Big Pun, Dig It in the Crates, Big L, rest in peace to both of them, Big Pun and Big L, you know, you have Khaled, you have so many people that is surrounded around you, Remy, you know, just being able to come from where you just came from to be able to connect the dots with those kind of people and, you know, get yourself in the hip hop culture world. What has that ride been like for you?
Well, I'm blessed to know you, right? And so what happens is my walks of life, my family tree. So, you know, we put Khaled on. Khaled might feed 1,000 employees right now.
Facts.
Right? We put Remy on. Self-made woman, mansion, money, businesses, this, that. Big Pun, inspiration to all Latinos, first solo artist to sell 2 million. Our family tree is out of control. You know, I helped get Pitbull signed. Lord knows how much money he made, how many jobs he got, how many this and that. And so when I start thinking about our family tree and how many people we done fed, me alone, you know, I might have 75, 80 employees.
A lot.
Right? And so it's just, you know, it's remarkable. But one thing God gave me was a gift to notice qualities in people that they don't even know themselves, or they might not believe in themselves. Like I could meet, when I met Remy, she was 10 pounds flat. She was spitting. I was like, oh, shit, she's a superstar. I met Big Pun, fatter than me. Like, all right, we're going to make him a sex symbol. We're going to market and promote him. We're going to this and that. That's a special thing that you're born with. And I know it too. You know, my partner in this store, Slow, up in YC, his son is very charismatic, Chase. And he's told me one day, we was chilling at a barbecue or something, he said, yo, uncle, you know I'm gonna be big. By the time I'm 16, I'm gonna not rap and just be big. And you know what I told him? I said, I believe you. And I told him, I believe you because everybody I know is big. Everybody I met is big. Everybody ever came through us turned out to be some shit. So I'm like, you know, I won't be surprised if they tell me in 3-4 years, Chase is the number one. I'd be like, all right, we're just used to that. We're so blessed that everybody we know turned into somebody. You know, Cool and Dre, they produced for 50 Cent, Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, LV just did Beyonce's last whole album. He was my DJ for 10 years. So everybody we connected with, they branch out to do great things.
Okay.
You know, so
there's a lot of entrepreneurship that I'm hearing also. So it's like with all of that family tree and branching out, how does like the up NYCs, the political, the Joe, you're shaking hands with the president now. I'm just saying all rappers ain't getting these type of positions. So you are kind of like iconic in a lot of the things that you're doing, just as coming in, they say, as a rapper.
Last week I performed, brought out the president. The next day I was at the Queen of Harlem with you in the tournament in Harlem.
Facts.
In the middle of Harlem. Not everybody can do that. I take great pride in being able to do that, to bridge the people. So what happens when it comes to politics, you know, I've been heavily into healthcare price transparency because everybody's getting robbed. When you go to the hospital, it's the only place they don't give you a bill. Right now, if you want a pair of socks, I got to tell you what it costs. If you want a pair of sneakers, I got to tell you. If you want a sandwich, I got to tell you. If you want a coffee, I got to tell you. You go in the hospital, these people tell you whatever they want. Wow. You got somebody going in the hospital the same day for the same thing, same doctors, paying 3 different things. Let alone, we already know from our parents, from our mothers and fathers, that when the family feuds over money, it breaks up the dynamic, right? So it's so deep what's going on. And now as far as like the politicians, I ain't gonna lie to you, the White House, they ask me what the streets thinking. They like, you might as well call me a consultant.
You tapped in.
They're like, yo, what's the street saying? What you think about this and this and that? And you know, I'm a diehard Democrat. I respect all the Republicans, everything they do, whatever the case may be. But I'm for the little guy. You know, I'm for, you made enough money. Why don't we give back to the less fortunate? Because I come from there, right? I'm for women's rights. Women should be able to do whatever she want with her body. You know, and you know, I'm for the small guy. And so that's why I'm a diehard Democrat. And so, and people say, Joe, you make bad money now. You should be a Republican. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I got to always remember where I come from and just think about the people who raised me. And so that's why, you know, I am who I am when it comes to politics.
This is why I do this, because it's like, if we don't have a chance to sit down and talk with the people that is really out there and really is around stuff and can talk about both worlds. I mean, Joe, you've been in the basketball world. You've been in the entertainment world with your podcast as well. You know what I'm saying? You've been in so many different spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, how do you handle when it comes to looking at being a street ball commissioner? You know, I had to throw you off with that.
You know, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. Shout out to Clash TV. It's an app where you can see your favorite tournaments. If you don't even live in New York City or wherever, you could tune in and see what's going on. That's the best. It's the best possible way for me to explain the culture to you. Where you can see it, you can hear them arguing, you can hear what they doing. This is real street basketball.
Real.
So I connected with Chris Gotti and them at Clash TV because, you know, they're present at every tournament, every event. They don't discriminate, and they give the little guy once again a chance to shine. You know, we had Clash TV when you gave Vince Carter 61, 16 years old. That would be super documented. You understand what I'm saying?
Google that.
Yeah, but what happens now is like everything's documented. So everything, you can't get away with nothing. There's 10 cameras on you every time you move now. But back in the days when Fat Joe get to telling these stories, you know, I've been outside.
Outside.
You understand? You started off by telling them ain't too many rappers could come up in the Harlem joint and just sit there and act like and hang out with everybody, you know, from mothers to kids or whatever. But that's who I am. I never left my presence in the street. You're a reflection of me in the street. Kareem's, you know, somebody asked me the other day, they always ask me, Kareem Reed, they always ask me, you know, they asked me, yo, Joe, just 2 days when I was with you in Harlem, they was like, Joe, how much Jay-Z offered Kareem? How much was the bag? And I said, let me tell you, let me answer it to you this way. It was way more than I was giving them, right? But I told Kareem, I said, Kareem, there's people coming over here for one summer. I'm gonna be with you for life.
Facts.
You sure you want that one little bag? And sure enough, it's what? 15 years later, Fat Joe still family with Kareem, still family with Abutta, still this and that. And that's what I was trying to tell him. Like, yo, our relationship is bigger than you getting a bag right now. You know, well, a bag of that size, because you guys were getting bags too. It just you know, Jay-Z came too, trying to throw the duffel bag.
Your thing was always loyalty, and the ones that always respected you and understood that you was always there for them, it was only right that they always showed their loyalty to you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how we built our teams, out of loyalty. Everybody was like, yo, we're not gonna let Joe down.
At all.
We're not just gonna do it. You know, I'll tell you an ill story, you know, because a lot of hoopers watch this. The guy I felt in our era of basketball, let me explain it to you like this. I want you to think of Malcolm X, the movie that Spike Lee did. So Malcolm X, the movie, I think he was walking into Harvard and a white girl came up to him and said, Mr. X, Mr. X, Mr. X, I realized what my people did. They made you slaves, they this and that. What can I do to help? He turned around and said, you can't do nothing. You can't help me. I appreciate you understand, but you can't help us, right? So now we got this, I would call it Golden State Warriors of street basketball. We got what they call that, a dynasty. We winning every year, right? So as we're walking in one year, the guy who I thought had the greatest handle in the history of my era was Bone Collector. Bone Collector comes up to me and says, hey, Joe, like Malcolm X, what can I do to come and play with y'all right now? I want to play with y'all this, that. I said, you cannot help me. Right? And there's no disrespect to Bone Collector because I just called him the greatest handle in all of street basketball. But he was an individual player. He wasn't a loyal built into winning championships.
Facts.
He knew that the spotlight would be on us, and he was going to go up in there and act crazy and all that. And we wound up losing games.
We wasn't here.
People don't understand. We was
in the huddle.
We didn't play games till we was up by 20.
Facts.
My shit was like, yo, we got to win. Once we up 20, you could throw the shit in the air. You could alley-oop. You could act stupid. You could do whatever, but we here to win.
Facts.
And my players bought into that. And they was like, nah, we winning. And we had guys like Ed Glover. We had guys like DP. Guys that you'll never hear their name nowhere. Tyrone Grant. These guys ain't talked about, but they was applying the pressure out there. Them boys was out there bumping bodies. Like now, I went the other day to see the game and nothing from, at least a couple of games I seen the big man don't want to box out no more. He want to shoot threes. He don't want to bump body to body. That's not you. I went to the Liberty game yesterday.
You saw more.
I support the girl in the Liberty body going up there, and that's how they won the game, man. I get really confused how, they play the game now out there. We have real point guards that were built like they were fake professional players. Buckets. No, they coming down. You got Speedy. You got they was coming down. Kareem. They was coming down like professional. Like now these niggas got butterfingers and all that out there. I'm like, yo, what's going on with y'all? Like, where's the semi-pro? And I ain't been seeing it out there in the park. But that's the purpose of the Clash TV, is to give you an opportunity. If you got talent like that, if you're doing it like that, we filming it, go crazy. Make your team win. This is an opportunity for you to be seen across the world and be marketable across the world.
Rest in peace to Greg Marius, you know what I mean? I hope you guys can see the things that, Fat Joe is allowing himself to be a part of, just to try to continue to help the street ball culture grow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you, if there was some advice to give to the younger.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I want to know. Let's go back to Greg Marius.
Okay,
right?
my bad.
So they called me from Florida to come up because they said he was dying. And so I walked up in the hospital room, and it was one of the saddest things I ever seen in my life, to watch another man that you respect be so vulnerable and be dying. Like I seen it with my own eyes, and he was talking to me. He was like, yo, Joe, we got to keep the tournament alive. We got to this and this and that. And you talk about a guy who was a stand-up man, who lived by conduct, by morals, that knew that, see, when we take the kids off the street, we bring them into the park, it's a lot less crime. Summertime in New York City is the most dangerous time because everybody's outside. That's why you watch the news. Old lady got shot 84, little kid shot in the head, barbecue. It's just the streets ain't safe. And the only place that's been known to be safe from gang violence, from anything, has always been the ballpark. And that's what's so beautiful and philanthropic of street ball tournaments. And that's what attracted me to it. That's why when people say, why you got so many NBA players? Because that's what I was kicking it up. I was like, yo, bro, this is the only time they're going to get to see you. They can't pay $200. They can't pay $500 to go in the garden. It's the only way they're going to see you. It's Christmas. There's snow on the floor. They watch you play. They outside in the snow imitating your moves. The least you could do is, you got 150 million. You got 200 million. The least you could do is let these kids see you. And that's how I used to get all the NBA players in the park.
They came through.
Just like that. Because we couldn't pay them nothing. It was like they got more money than me.
Jermaine O'Neal, Sean Marion.
Zach Randolph. Starberry every game.
Steph every
Shout
season.
Out to Zach Marberry. Steph every. You know how big that was? Steven Jackson. Oh,
Al Harrington.
Every game. You know how hard that was for Steph to be from New York City, to be the highest paid player in the NBA and be playing games in the park for free?
Every season.
Every game. We wouldn't miss a game. That was crazy, bro.
Yo, those was the times, man.
That was nuts, man.
Nah, like I said, I wanted to ask you about, because, you know, like I told you with financial literacy being a different way, if kids could get some type of information, like I said, the era that I grew up in, and I'm quite sure you know about this, it was the game was to be sold, not to be told. So what I'm trying to do with the content is inspire and motivate through conversation. And I feel like if there was ways that you could tell the up and coming rapper, you know, how to manage money. I'm quite sure you've been through a lot when it came to ups and downs. You know what I mean? We don't.
So let's talk
you know
real.
What I mean? That's what.
So,
you know what I mean? I know you could give that to them.
What happens is, see, rap music, right, ain't basketball. They coincide together, but there's different rules. Basketball, you got to play for college. You got to there's families that sponsor players and bring them to the nice neighborhoods so they can play in good schools. Rap music, you don't need a high school diploma. In fact, your most valuable person down with you is somebody who did 20 years for murder.
Wow.
I'm just keeping it real with you, right?
Streets first.
And so it's real crabs in the barrel. It's real, and it's really a miracle if you make it in hip hop music, right? It's literally a miracle. So once they make it, who is Fat Joe to pull aside a kid that's making $50 million or $100 million and tell him what to do in his life? These guys are looking at you like, yo, I made it happen on my own. What the you can tell me? Now, if they call me and ask me for advice or DM me, or they're watching something like this, because you know, all us men, we deal with bravado, we deal with ego, we deal with pride. Sometimes we want to ask somebody something and they could be standing right next to you and you scared to ask them.
That's true.
Because you just feel like you don't want to know how he responds. And so that's why that's why I love that you said financial literacy. Do this, because people should learn from our mistakes.
You got the bed thing. You got sneakers with Air Force One with Nike. I'm just saying, you got Up NYC. There's so many things that I can point at that you
And what you got to do is that it's possible.
Okay.
And so what you got to understand is when Fat Joe does that, you got to realize it's possible. And so people like Diddy, people like 50 Cent, people like Jay-Z, people like Dr. Dre, people like that inspired me and let me know that it's possible. You know, so it's my job, and it's always been my job, to be transparent and show everybody what I did to get here. Because I made a lot of mistakes coming here. This is, you know, I just think like if you go through something in life and it doesn't kill you, it's God showing you a lesson, and it's actually a blessing. You know, I had a rougher road to get here. You know, I was under a whole different rule system. I was keeping it real. I thought you was fake if you didn't have 40 guys with you. I thought it was this. So I had to like wash myself from all the hood moves to be like, yo, keep your circle small. Stay smart. Why? Stay out of trouble. Maybe you ain't supposed to be in the hood or in the club every night. Maybe you ain't supposed to this and this and that. You're supposed to be more focused on business. And the more I make money, the bigger I get, the better it'll be for you, because it'll trickle down into our community and give back jobs and open businesses for everybody like that. So you should want Fat Joe to win, because he's showing you can make it out the hood, but you don't got to leave the hood. We right in the hood, you know, and they scare you to think like, oh, this guy got smart enough to figure it out. Oh, let's get him out of here so he'll never come back. That's not true. You could be with your people. Nobody gonna love you and embrace you more than your people. So we make single parent moms the manager of the stores. They buy houses. You know, we hands-on showing the community, yo, we ain't running nowhere. We here. And they feel like they got a home base when they come to my stores, like Joey's here. You know you could always find me here.
I know.
You know what I mean? So if somebody really who love me want to try to get in touch with me, they walk up in this, they will get on the phone with me like, yo, here you go, Joe. Such and such mom's passed. I paid for over 100, maybe 150 funerals in my hood, right? And so anybody mother die, anybody grew up with me, they come like this though. They don't even wait. They come and be like, yo, Joe, such and such mother died. All right, we go by the funeral, Pam, keep it moving. And so, I've been doing that since forever. I never smoked and I never drank because my big brother, who was my idol, lost a battle to drugs and drinking and all that. So a guy who was 1,000,000 times smarter than me wound up having one quarter of the life he should have had. He should have been my boss while I'm doing this now. And so I learned through that. When people do stuff, I learn from other people's mistakes. The problem we have is that people say, yo, I gotta learn for myself. Well, if I know that my brother used cocaine and dope and his life up, I might like it. So I'm not gonna try it. You understand? And so what's so important about doing interviews like this is that you learn from people's experience that went through shit in life. You don't have to do it. You see it, you learn, you say, oh, Fat Joe, he got burnt that time he did that. I don't need to do it.
Facts.
That's good enough. You don't have to go through yourself and do all that. So just know that. If your friends f***ing up, oh, I gotta be with my... It's not it. You could learn from their mistake and be like that. I don't want to do that. That's not where I want to be.
I got one question for you, Joe. I know a lot of people don't know, like, when I was younger, I used to be with you, like I said.
Every day.
You know what I mean? I remember you took me to Miami, and if I'm not mistaken, we went into like a storage room, and I saw Khaled with all of these crates, and he was doing the radio station. So the question I have for you is to watch Khaled from that moment to where I'm quite sure you've seen him quite sure before then, but for me to see that with my own eyes to seeing where he's at today, how does that make you feel?
I want to just talk materially for a second, right? We've been talking all this wisdom, all this knowledge. This guy got so much money, man. I swear. This guy got so much money. I don't know how he does. I work like a slave. I don't got no kind of money like this guy. This guy you should financial literacy him on the interview.
Wow.
God damn, the type of I'll be like, it just don't make no sense. Put it like this, we're going to the white party tomorrow. I got to show them we're going to white party, which is Michael Rubin's party, right? Khaled owns his own plane. There's a G6, 500, 550. Best plane you can buy. He wants to fly from Teterboro to the Hamptons, which is probably a 6-minute flight. It don't even make sense. And I'm like, Khaled, we could just go, Maybach, whatever. Hour and a half, you smoke a blunt, you good. Nah, Joe, the way the big boys do it, they flying in the G6 5. I'm like, but Khaled is a 10-minute flight. Yeah, we gotta pull up. Like that, I don't understand. And I'll be sitting there, but I can answer your question like this, right? So Khaled,
wow,
we are beyond proud of him. And people get upset how I talk because, I discovered him, I put him in the game, you was there, and now he's 100 times richer than me, right? But I'm proud of him. When I walk in his house and it's so beautiful, it's a palace, and he got like 10 people working, cleaning, they make you sandwiches and coffee while you talk, like it's some other shit, right? I just get so proud of him. Words can't describe how proud of him I am. So one day we go Turks and Caicos for vacation, this family, my family, we do it all the time. But the lady that works for him, the nanny who raised his kids, so we in the pool, she's there. And she tells me in Spanish, she says, I know you the boss. And I said, what? I said, what? She said, I know. None of this possible without you. You're the boss. So I tell her, nah, I'm not the boss. She said, no. My boss, who's Khaled, told her he's the boss. So the woman telling me, I know you the boss because my boss told me you're the boss. And make sure whenever you come in here, you got whatever the you want. They're going to treat you like a king. They're going to do whatever, because if it wasn't for you, there would be no him. That's where I take most pride in. You know, I've never asked Khaled for $1. I make my own money. My whole pride is in, you know, him telling his people, yo, this is our guy. This is the guy fight for us. And so, you know, he's calling me now. I'm going to go eat dinner with him tonight. He did dinner yesterday. He's in New York for like a couple of days. He don't want to move without me. Yo, let's go eat dinner. It's always lobsters and steaks. I might get Fat Joe will get with this guy. No, I'm telling you, this guy, he want to eat Thanksgiving every day. I can't do that.
That's Khaled for you, man. Hey, man, if it was some, you know, advice that you could give the next generation, just, you know, coming up in this world today that we living in, Joe, I know that
okay, you want to hear the realest thing?
Give it to him, Joe.
Don't do crime. Don't do crime. Joe, what does it mean? You tell stories that you was tough, you was this and this and that. I was lucky there weren't cameras. Right now, two things. Right now, there's cameras everywhere. So you shoot a guy or you stab him and you got a mask on when nobody can see your eyes. They will go in the camera for 8 hours straight. No matter where you go, they'll follow every single camera till they see your face. That's how Jesse Smollett got arrested.
Wow.
He was with the guys he said beat him up like 10 hours earlier. They followed him for 10 hours and he was with the guy he sent to beat him up. That's it. No, but I'm saying they had somebody follow the camera for 10 hours. Stack bundles. He got murdered. Nobody knew who killed him. They got wind of who they thought killed him. They pinned his phone. Your phone is a tracking device.
Wow.
Your phone. Now, yo, I didn't kill nobody in front of Fat Joe's store. Well, hey, buddy, you're right. You was in Orlando with your family. We see it. The tower says you was in Orlando. But if at 12:01 you was in 158 from Broadway, my brother, you did the crime. And so what happens, guys, is that it's almost impossible to get away with crime. So I'd rather you focus your energy in becoming a legitimate worker, entrepreneur. What's that, Joe? I respect a lady selling oranges on the side of the highway more than somebody working for somebody. Why? Because that lady's gonna open her own fresh fruit stand next door in a couple of things, and next thing you know, she could become the biggest distributor.
Facts.
She's an entrepreneur. So I don't believe in working for people. I had to tell a white guy that today who's a fucking billionaire. We was talking, I said, I don't work for people. I've been independent for 17 years. It's just not what I do. He said, well, what? I said, well, I didn't take orders from people. Like, I don't, and I want to know that if I do something, even if I lose my own money, I know I put my own money and I knew what I was doing. But other than that, I don't trust people to be like, all right, I work for somebody, they're going to do this and this and that. Full of shit. The best advice I could tell a youth is try small time. Whatever, even if you're selling socks, whatever you're doing, try to own your own business. Your own equity. When they say equity means you own. Equity means own. You own your own business. That if one day, you know how many guys worked for somebody and made them hundreds of millions of dollars with their ideas and got nothing but a salary and then got thrown out one day?
Wow.
Say, yo, you fired. You're like, damn, I came up with this whole Tell you the truth.
This the truth. I know you kicking it. Tell them I need to hear from you.
I know a guy who's a manager who came up with an idea that made hundreds of millions of dollars. And when just before they did the deal that he thought he was going to get some money, they cut him off. It happens a bunch of times. I'm just trying to tell you, you gotta have your equity. You gotta own whatever you're doing, have your own paperwork, your own right, so that nobody can come rob you.
Streets first, man.
Streets is always first.
Appreciate you.
Let me tell you something.
Huh?
Streets know everything before everybody.
Yeah. Y'all can follow my man Fat Joe on Instagram. Y'all can follow my man Fat Joe on Twitter. Everywhere, man. You know, man. That's the great, legendary, iconic Fat Joe TS representative. You heard?
Hey, Butta boy.
Follow us on Streets First. You know what I mean? Follow on our blog.com. Tap in. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen.
Learn.
Let's say one thing because we ain't say that. You know, I got A Butta in college.
Yeah. Tell him. Tell him,
I
Joe.
went and I got him in college. He was playing street ball. Went and got him at Fordham University with Coach Hill.
Snapple
You
fact.
know, I went
Had
and
that
got
combo.
Kareem Reed a tryout with the New York Knicks. It didn't work out, but I did it.
That's what he did.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about all of us winning.
When
And
I
so
went
you
to
gotta-
Fordham, he did What's Love with
In the-
Ashanti in my Fordham school gym. You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
let me tell you-
me pick out the people for the extras. You know how I looked as a freshman in Fordham? Talk
You know-
to me nice.
Talk to me nice, but you know what I'm saying to you is, I reflect back as a kid. When you had a kid who had the ball and he was like, mine, me. He wouldn't let certain people play with his ball or whatever. And so what the biggest lie is ever is that somebody can own all the money. You just can't own all the money. So now you got Jewish people and Muslim people that don't really get along, right? And they got big problems. So the Jewish people, they're very blessed by God. God gave them they own all the property, they own all the TV, they own all of that. So they're filthy rich, wealthy. But now, does God just love the Jewish people? No. He blessed the Muslims with oil and gas that we cannot drive our car, fly a plane, turn the heat on without the Muslims' oil and gas. The point I'm trying to make you is that they're both God's favorite and they both can eat. And so what we have in our community is we have people who think they need to have all the money. The way you build wealth, the way you build a community that can help each other is everybody gotta win. When everybody wins, one of us has a hard time, we pick him up till he get back on his feet. Because a hustler's a hustler. He's always gonna get his money. Now we strong. And so if there's some big jewel I could explain to you is that try to have all your people eat. Everybody win. So that one day if you need them, they could be there for you. If you're the only guy that's always providing, turn around, you need them, nobody can help you. Peace. This has been the biggest game. Street first.
Streets first.
Streets.
Yeah, this one's for the streets first. Stripes like a referee shirt. This one's for the streets first. Tell mama this the rebirth.